Hello. So it is day 5 or something, right? So I guess I'll just do a very brief update on how things are going. Of course, immediately today, I already kind of failed because I went to bed incredibly late last night. I tried going to bed at 12. I went into my room, I set up my bed. I was actually genuinely feeling tired. I went to lie down and just I couldn't sleep. I literally stayed up until 5, and then I was able to sleep till 9. When my alarm woke me up, and then I set it to go continue to 12. So I slept till 12, and then I had to wake up because I had to take my meds. And of course, it was on such short notice, and I was starving, and I don't have that much food in the fridge, so I was like, it was actually because I really wanted more. I needed something to wake up with. I need to get my coffee machine fixed. Um, I could just move on to coffee. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. So let's pull up Zoom. So I didn't eat the rest of that Mexican food I mentioned about last night. It was just some beans and rice with some guac and jalapenos. And there's a little bit of chicken left. But hey, beans and rice is still a whole protein. It's still a full meal, and it was very filling and very nice. So yeah, so that's something. What? How satisfied are you with your goal special? I don't want to talk about that right now. All right, let's go and log my meals. All right, so let's say breakfast. All I've had is the fries. The burger is still whole in there. I'm gonna try and hold it off until later in the day. So I'm gonna say I had a small fry and a Coke Zero, 1,000 cans. Let's say this is a large. This is 2 cans worth. Let's go. Ooh, no, there we go. And then done. And so we have done. How you doing? Only way to check. Tap the analysis button to see where you're coming from. Blah 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 blah. So according to this, yeah, it's already telling you like limit your proportions of the density food, aka the McDonald's fries. Um, so I'm already gonna blow that today because I have a burger here that I'm no doubt going to probably eat for kind of a early dinner. Well, more like a lunch at this point, considering how late I stayed up. I kind of is there a oh here we go. Let's see what they say with the great choice stuff because I'm assuming that's just like salads and vegetables and stuff, right? Green foods are the least calorie dense and and or contain the highest concentration of health nutrients and should make a bulk of your diet. Mm. Some common green foods are veggies and whole grains. Oh, you mean green as in not literal green. You mean green as in whole foods kind of green. Okay. Um yeah, try to fill the majority of your plate with these foods. So, yeah, it sounds like yellow foods have more calories. Common yellow foods. So that seems to be the meats, the starches, foods that aren't bad for you, but you should eat in moderation. So yeah, so when I had for the Mexican food, for example, like the enchilada and the beans and rice, that was all moderation food, which makes sense. Mexican rice, I mean, it's a heavy carb. It's starchy, I guess, is what you could call it. But it's mostly just rice. Traditional Mexican rice, from what I understand, is mostly rice and chicken broth, and tomato. Not even tomatoes necessarily needed, but I don't even like something like that. But there, and onion. There's usually always onion in there, and but and some herbs and cumin. I think they put cumin in there. I can't remember. And then with refried beans, what they do is it's essentially just pinto beans that have been recooked in tallow, so it's very fattening. It's one of the things about Mexican food that you kind of have to look out for is like, for some reason, it's standard practice to give you a whole batch of beans and rice and, a form of protein, even though the beans and rice the beans is a protein, especially with the rice. You don't need all of that. You really only, you can live off of just the protein, because a lot of times the protein, and in the case of enchiladas, the protein in the enchilada comes from the chicken and the cheese, and then the tortilla is just more carbs that bulk out the meal. You can have a meal of just enchiladas. You don't need the beans and rice, but they always give you the beans and rice. So what I always do is I always separate them fundamentally. Beans and rice are their own meal. Enchiladas are their own meal. That's the way I treat Mexican food, personally. I treat beans and rice like a meal. I don't treat it like just a side that although I guess I could, like, little portions, but I do not eat the portions they give you at restaurants. It's way too much. And I always try and focus on the main meal first. But, if you get enchiladas at the store, you could always just chop the enchiladas in half, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of fiber you can get out of those beans, though, so... same with the guacamole, too. Guacamole is also really high in fiber. That's actually why avocado is so good for you. It's not only is it filled with the healthy fats, but it's also, unlike most sources of fat that are animal-based that have no fiber, because animals don't have fiber in them because we're not literally plants. But avocado has a huge amount of fiber, which makes it incredible for dieting. It's just really expensive and not that readily available, sort of. I mean, actually, I should reverse that. It's not that they're not readily available, and I live in California. They're readily available. It's just that they're a bit pricey for a food that you would eat on a regular basis. And more importantly, they don't last long. You have to eat them pretty regularly. So buying in bulk is a very risky option, especially because they are really good additions to things. So you're going to probably use like an avocado throughout a day. You're not going to eat a whole one a meal. If you do, I mean, good Lord, that's a lot of fat, and you don't need that. I always like to kind of go with per meal. If I'm using avocado, I might even just use half, like a quarter of it. Or half, depending on my appetite. If I'm eating like something that's mostly going to be avocado based, like avocado toast or something, then I'm probably going to be using half of it. But if I'm doing like a poke bowl, or if I'm doing or if I'm making like a taco or anything where I'm just throwing avocado on it as like an additional little piece of something, I'm probably going to just use a quarter, because then you really aren't using it for much else. And avocados are great on poke bowls because they absolutely just, they really do offset the fact that poke bowls can be incredibly lean if you're not getting like an aioli with it or anything. And if you're doing homemade poke, you're probably not going to be using no, you might. I don't know. I don't. When I make poke sauce, it's mostly just like basically sesame oil with like a bunch of seasonings and stuff in it. All right, I should get back to what I was actually talking about. How you doing? Okay, close. So I have, they don't count, they don't count Coke as water, right? How many ounces is this? I kind of want to count this as water, but it feels like that might be a little misleading. I'm going to go and check, actually. How many milliliters in a large McDonald's cup? An American McDonald's small drink. I asked for a large drink. And a large drink is 887 milliliters. Okay. So I don't have a case on this phone right now because my case, I took it off because I accidentally dropped my phone in the toilet like an idiot. So I took the case off to wash it, and dry the phone off, more thoroughly. And, I forgot why. So I actually really hate modern phones for this. You see how there's this like you see how the screen is kind of like slightly elevated out of the bezel. They do this because they want like the screen to be a little bit more curved and a little bit more pristine and pretty looking. But what it means is you have to be so careful not to touch the edge of the screen with your finger when you're holding on to it. I hate that. I hate it so much. It's bad form factor. So I always get a really big case so that I can hold on to the phone more effectively. Um, it's also because like this thing always feels like it's gonna snap like a wafer. So, but I actually really want to replace that case because it's a little bit banged up after a couple years. And there's a lot of little quirks about it I'm not a huge fan of. And I've been debating on whether to get a different kind of case, but I don't know if I want to go like what kind of route I want to go in that department. Do I want to play around with like the wallet, like the wallet phone case thing? Because I kind of want to do that. That would be kind of nice just to have like it all in one place. But I also keep my wallet in my back pocket a lot of the times when I'm wearing jeans. So I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna go ahead and let's okay. So a large is okay. So the drinks are smaller in Australia. What? This is from news.com apparently. Okay. Let's see. 77. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, okay. So I basically I'm consuming that much liquid. Okay, so I logged in my meal, walk 14 whatever steps, progress, weigh in. I don't have a scale, so I can't weigh in. And then they did a course thing. I'm trying to remember what the course was yesterday. It was about food density, I think. Yes. It was about food density and water goals. So basically, the gist of that is just you know, if you never heard of that, like drink more water, drink. This was something that was actually new. I've never heard of this before, but like focus on wetter foods. But that makes a lot of sense if you've seen certain videos on soup in general. I've watched a number of interesting historical, like kind of focused YouTube videos on soup. And soup is a fascinating form of food because honestly, it's a incredibly efficient form of cooking. And it is incredibly filling. I always get really surprised at how filling soup can be anytime I have it. I actually don't eat soup that often. It's just not something that I do. And I think a part of it might be because I live in the Sun Belt, California. And drinking warm soup on a hot day makes no sense most of the time. So, like the idea of eating soup, when it's like 100 degrees out, which it's not right now, it's like 80, I think. I just don't get the point, so I never do it. But maybe if I find like a soup that really tastes right in a hot temperature, like in a warm climate, because I imagine like a lot of Mediterranean soups are probably literally made to be as refreshing and as light as possible. They don't feel like they're trying to warm your body more so. Because cream-based soups are usually the ones you associate with winter, and those aren't even the healthy ones. So I don't know. I should probably start eating more soup in my diet. I don't like canned soup that often though, so I should probably look into just getting like just regularly going to Safeway and just buying like the tubs of soup and just pouring off as much as I need. Safeway has some decent soups, but I'm mostly familiar with like the tortilla soup. I like tortilla soup, chicken tortilla soup. I love pozole. They don't sell pozole at Safeway, unfortunately. I would have to go to like an actual place to get some or make it myself, which is not that complicated, honestly. It's mostly peppers, really. And meat. There's meat in there. Yeah, it's oh man. That is something I should probably focus on, but right now I'm kind of dealing with a really bad budget issue, so I don't really have spending money outside of the cheapest options possible. Like, there's a reason I'm getting the McDouble and the small fry all the time, because they have a deal right now. You can get like a McDouble, small fry, and a drink for like less than $4. So yeah, I'm doing that. I've been doing that lately because I know I could probably save money by just buying incredibly cheap ingredients, but I also want it fast. I don't know. Actually, fuck it. I'm full of shit. I could save money by. I really should just go to Safeway and just buy like some ingredients and stop tempting myself to waste money on fast food. Anyways. So it doesn't seem like too much is actually happening. I don't think anything's happening for 4th of July, so I don't think I'm actually going to have any temptations to eat anything unhealthy. I might be eating with Dad at some point, and I'll probably just, like, kind of keep it light. Because if I'm eating with Dad, I'm probably going to be, like, having a beer or two. So usually what happens when I'm having a beer is I'll get an appetizer, like a protein-forward appetizer, and then the beer will just be the carbs. Because that's all it is. It's just carbs. It's alcoholic carbs. That's what wine is, too, for the most part. Though the drier the wine, the less sugar is in there, and the healthier it is. So you can get a pretty dry wine and not be necessarily bloating yourself with more carbs than you would from a spirit. So, like, actually with people on keto and stuff, they often will bring up, like, oh, yeah, you can have, like, a dry sake, for example. Because that stuff is very low in sugar. Love sake, by the way. Sake is great. And oh god, it's on the subject of that, on the subject of alcohol. So that's the thing I've been working on is not drinking on a regular basis, and for dietary reasons, and I've been trying to put that in there when I can. I mentioned I drank on Friday night because it was kind of a bit of an occasion. I didn't drink last night. Don't really plan on drinking this night either, so I'm just going to put that off. Though I am kind of worried about being able to calm down to sleep, so I think I'm going to go to the dispensary and buy myself another pack of their Sleep Plus mix. But I'll have to wait and see. I'm definitely going to have to make sure I have money in the budget for that. I don't even know if they're open right now. Yeah, they might not be open today, to be honest. I might need to just not and just deal. But we'll see. And then as for exercise, which this app has not even brought up yet, I am still in incredible pain from Beat Saber, to be honest. I thought my legs were going to be better by now, but they're not. It's been 3 days, and they're still incredibly sore. I really overdid it. So I'm probably going to be okay tomorrow, I think, with hope, and then I can get back to doing Beat Saber. In terms of other things, like energy levels, they're about usual, I guess. Maybe a little on the low side. In terms of being able to focus, yesterday was kind of a mess, to be honest. And today I feel absolutely exhausted. But that's because I don't think I really slept a full night's proper sleep. And it's feeling hot in here, to be honest. I might want to look into something about that. If it's gonna get hot today, I might not want to be in the house. I might use this as an opportunity to get out. But we'll have to wait and see. God, there's so much shit to do. Hey, at least I cleared out the box a little bit. It's not a giant pile anymore. Hopefully I'll get that settled soon. All right. Anyway, I'm starting to get to the rambling phase of what is supposed to be a very concise and simple diet vlog. So, yeah, things are incredibly slow. And they're probably going to continue to be incredibly slow. I don't know what this app is going to start throwing on me in terms of other expectations. But this is literally just, I shouldn't expect anything right now. And I also really need to clean out my fridge. So hopefully, I think I'm going to treat day mostly like a chore day. So, because it's whatever. So, that might be that might help me a lot in the diet department when I get the kitchen no longer in a state where I'm actually genuinely afraid of being in there, because there's some food I really should have thrown out that's sitting on the counter. and it's looking back at me whenever I look at it. I was just about to do like a happy fourth as a sarcastic joke, and then I remembered I actually really don't want to say those words, even though I just said it. Whatever. Isn't there another alternative holiday today? Anyway, signing off. I'll be back to ramble more tomorrow.